Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. It is a week that will live in infamy in the history of CNN. And if anything, it is getting worse by the day. We have not yet installed a countdown clock to the next ethics scandal. We're considering it, though. In the meantime, here is the latest. Earlier today, Project Veritas released yet another undercover video discrediting that channel. Now, Fox hasn't yet confirmed the authenticity of the video, but it appears to show CNN contributor Van Jones admitting that the story his network has obsessed over from breakfast till bedtime for the past 7 months at least is basically a sham.
Hey, man.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really?
The more CNN constantly, Russia this, Russia that.
Because it's ratings.
Now, before we continue, one obvious point. The tape you just saw is a little creepy. Privacy is vital to the functioning of any society, not to mention to human happiness itself. And unfortunately, it appears to be disappearing in this country thanks to the digital revolution. Even cable news figures ought to be allowed to have conversations on the street without worrying that their private remarks are being secretly recorded, as they now so often are. Also, by all accounts, for whatever it's worth, Van Jones apparently is a nice guy. Everyone who knows him says so. That said, how wonderfully revealing this exchange is. The Russia story is a nothing burger? Yep, we knew that. If only they admitted as much on CNN. But in private, they know it too. You remember the tape released just yesterday in which a CNN producer conceded that his boss, Jeff Zucker, demanded that CNN shows drop actual news coverage in order to spend much more time on the Russia conspiracy, since that storyline makes more money for the network? It is as corrupt as you imagined it was. Meanwhile, according to the New York Post, CNN apparently had to retract last week's bogus Russia story and fire the 3 reporters who wrote it after being threatened with a $100 million libel suit from Anthony Scaramucci. He's the Trump associate who was slandered by the piece. Whoa! What is next for CNN? Well, on his show, Rush Limbaugh predicted the end may be near.
Could Donald Trump be the end of CNN? What a legacy that would be. I think that's what the Trump administration is doing with many in the media. They're like cats. He's got this little red laser light and is just causing them to make fools of themselves, and everybody's laughing at them as they're crashing into walls and sofa and the floor. And that's what little Jim Acosta had happen to him yesterday.
Oh. Cats to a red laser light. Awesome. Well, we don't know what's going to happen next at CNN, but whatever happens, this is clearly a network in crisis. And that happens to companies from time to time. Enron, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers. It's not unheard of. The question is, how does your company respond when its corruption is revealed? Well, here's how CNN is responding. Its media critic Brian Stelter, who also hosts a show on the channel, let loose on Twitter today attacking the forces of what he described as anti-journalism. Quote, activists promoting hatred and resentment of the press. Millions of people are exposed to extreme anti-journalism views daily, spreading hate about an entire class of American workers. Got that? American workers. In Stelter's telling, those would be journalists, the soft-handed Princeton grads who would be consultants at McKinsey right now if they hadn't worked on the school paper. They're workers. In fact, they're the opposite of workers. They're members of the privileged class, and their fear and outrage at the stirrings of populism is proof that they know they are. When the public speaks, they shudder because they know exactly how much they have to lose. Viewers no longer trust these people for a very simple reason. They're not trustworthy. And it's strange they don't know that. Let's say you own a potato chip factory, okay? And you once had an unbreakable monopoly on snack food. If people wanted potato chips, they had to buy them from you. Then one day, a new company comes along and starts making better potato chips at the same price. What would happen? Of course, you would lose market share. How would you react at that point? Would you try to make tastier potato chips? Or would you attack your customers as stupid and immoral, maybe go on a megalomaniacal rant about how consumers who don't like your chips are spreading hate? Well, it depends how deluded you are, I guess.